ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
I want to start off talking about these Epstein survivors who are speaking out, who had, there was an oversight committee meeting and several Congress people met with victims of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's ring of pedophilia on that island that involved a lot of wealthy men. The list wasn't released, and apparently a lot of the pages were redacted. And personally, I care deeply about the rampant sexual abuse that seems to also be foundational. So when we talk about this country, I often say racism is baked in, but so is this. It's part, I mean, if we're being honest, the founding fathers were just child traffickers. Most of the people in the hulls of ships that came over were children. And on those plantations, most of the people raped were children. So you understand it's baked in, which is probably why there isn't the outrage that I thought we should have always had. So I'm calling a little cap on the level of outrage now. Do you really care about what's happening? They're missing women, girls right now that nobody's looking for because they don't have the right complexion for you to care. So is that what is making this case different? That most of the victims look like Natalie Holloway? I'm not certain, but I'm gonna need them to have the same energy across the board because I think it is, to me, human trafficking in this country, probably globally, is one of the largest industries. We know porn is a large industry, and we also know that child porn, pornography is large. I mean, hell, the Subway sandwich guy Jared is in jail or was in jail. I don't know if he got out, but that was what sent him to jail and into disgrace, was a penchant for little children. So is this America? Like, is this going to be the thing that upends this regime? 866-801-8255. Actually, it would be kind of shocking because I knew in 2015 to 16, that this, as they were blaming or casting, these kind of wild allegations against Hillary Clinton, saying Hillary Clinton had a child pedophile ring in the basement of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C., and had some man drive up and try to rescue these children. I was like, that's outrageous, but you don't have to go that far. There it is right there. And I think then we hear it was like Prince Andrew and Bill Gates and Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. We knew already. Why is this news? Didn't we already know? And y'all voted for this anyway? The majority of you? Not y'all. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. And some of them are listening. You voted for this anyway. We've been new. So why now? That's my question. Why now? Why now? So I'm going to play some clips. I don't know where to start. Let's start with Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat from Massachusetts 7th District. She talked about what she heard. Let's play that one first.
What we heard here today was harrowing. And it is proof of what has been an institutional, systemic betrayal for decades. These women now who were preyed upon, groomed, exploited, violated from as young as 13 years old. Their bodies violated, their minds manipulated, and their dreams denied. Aspiring artists, lawyers, actors, people who had big dreams. And those dreams have been dashed and denied because of the shame they carry, because of the trauma they carry. It is a lifetime sentence. Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but his hurt and his harm is alive and well in the daily experiences of these survivors. Maxwell is incarcerated, but it is these survivors, these victims, who are still very much in jail. And they are deserving of transparency, of accountability, and of healing. The role of this committee is to be an efficient and effective pursuit of the truth, and we will be until these survivors get the justice that they deserve. Again, we will not shield powerful abusers. They must be taken into account, and that cannot happen if we are not centering and prioritizing the voices of survivors. Today's roundtable, again, it was necessary, it was long overdue, and it was very powerful. And it is why I continue to call for a congressional hearing, because their stories need to be a part of a congressional record, and the entire public needs to understand just how systemic and how far and wide and how deep this institutional betrayal goes. For people that would wonder, how high are the stakes here? This is a matter of life and death, because Virginia Jeffrey took her life after decades of failure, and there are victims that can no longer come forward because they're in a fetal position, so broken by the weight of what they've been carrying, shame that they've been carrying when it is not their shame to carry. So Virginia Jeffrey took her life because of the institutional consecutive failures and betrayals of our government. So this is a matter of life and death.
Yeah. Ayanna Presley, thank you. Virginia Guffey's brother spoke yesterday as well and talked about, the enormous shame and burden that his sister carried before she took her life, died by suicide, age 41. The family is very vociferous about this coming to fruition, this case, all of the information. They accuse Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexually abusing Virginia, and as well as Ghislaine Maxwell. She was only 17 when she alleged that Ghislaine trafficked her to the Duke of York. She was 17. Prince Andrew, of course, has denied this. So this is all coming out. Can this be the end of? Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it, because again, y'all knew. You voted anyway. He said, grab him by the pussy. Nobody, especially when you're famous, people they don't let you. You're delusional. And you're so used to taking what you think is yours that you don't know the difference between no and stop and do whatever you want. So there's that. Also, Nancy Mace, who is a horrible representative from the state of South Carolina. She's horrible. I think she's running for governor. She's a horrible, horrible, horrible human being. But she left there in tears. Some are accusing her of performing and maybe taking away some of the emotion from the actual survivors. But she had a panic attack and left there, couldn't talk to the press, and nose was red and tears and all of that. She did that. And maybe she really did feel something, because she is one of a couple now Republicans who are breaking ranks with the knuckle dragging MAGA. And these are MAGA people. Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Neanderthal Green is also breaking ranks to vote to defy the Trump White House and release everything. Lauren Boebert is also on this train to release all of the things. So this is going to be an interesting few weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Led by Representative Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, conservative, who has clashed with Trump and other GOP leaders. He wants a full discharge. He wants all of it out. Put it all out. Yeah, put it out. What are you hiding? Who are you protecting? And let's be clear. We no longer are dealing with Republicans and Democrats. And this Jeffrey Epstein issue. It's not a Republican issue, a Democratic issue, as should none of these issues. When we talk about political parties, it should be about fiscal responsibility. It should be about smaller government. If you're a Republican, it should be about austerity. If you're a Republican, and on the other side, it should be about social issues and social programs. If you're a Democrat, like those are ideals. What we are in right now is not political at all. There's a whole lot of racism, a whole lot of knuckle dragging, a whole lot of misogyny, a whole lot of power grabs, a whole lot of rich people pitting poor people against one another and middle class people and telling people that this is your enemy while they grift the hell out of all of us. You won't have Social Security or Medicaid or Medicare or anything when they're done. And they're going to laugh all the way to the bank. This president already has made more money in 8 months than he's made in his entire life. And his family, I'm still wondering what Jared Kushner got $2 billion from the Saudis for last time they were in. But that is not outraging people. This is. So I'm leaning in. We're going to lean in. This is where y'all outrage. This is what y'all care about. Okay, let's bring another one who's probably going to vote to have it all released. Her name is Ana Paulina Luna, a Republican from Florida. She's the first Mexican-American elected from the state of Florida to office. She had this to say.
The biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily, but I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
Sign the discharge petition.
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to the vote. But I mean, obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of this file. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you. The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reasons to be out there. So I think from the get-go, even the Attorney General stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also too are as young as 14. That's child pornography. Thank you, guys.
But your president might also be a Russian foreign intelligence asset, like possibly. What? Ana Paulina Luna, really? That's the thing. You're okay. Yasmin Ansari, from Arizona's 3rd district. She is a Democrat. Representative Yasmin Ansari was also in this meeting with the victims of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. This is what she had to say.
There is so much to the story that nobody knows. There are decades worth of stories and information and a cover-up of this capacity to have allowed for the abuse of over 1,000 women over the course of decades, and then stories that demonstrate that Epstein and others were able to perpetuate the abuse beyond, even after the public knew. We know there's a lot more to this. And I think that this is the most corrupt administration in American history, and this story shows it more than anything. So we will keep fighting in honor of the survivors who are brave enough to put themselves out there for truth and justice, and we will not back down until there is full accountability and prevention from this ever happening again.
So full accountability, what does that look like? And if Trump is guilty of having done any of these acts, what are you prepared to impeach and convict? A 34-time convicted felon and an adjudicated sex offender probably should have never run for president. Are you guys in Congress willing to make that law that if you are a convicted felon and an adjudicated sex offender that you can never hold any public office. I think that that is a law that this Congress can put forth, right? And I think now's the time to do that. These are the kind of things that I feel like this can give you an opportunity. You got the full public. Most people want to see all of the files. I personally don't need the files. I already feel like I know that who's on the list. And I won't be shocked if it's a bunch of Democrats as well, because again, this is not a political ideal that we're talking about. These are proclivities that have no political bounds, okay?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will